Hello again everybody, and welcome to another of the Brommer's Blog video tutorial series on DesignSpark PCB. This week we're going to look at the Translate to PCB command. This is the operation that we do once we've got a schematic that we're happy with, and we want to start looking now then moving towards doing the design for the actual printed circuit board, or the layout that will actually become ultimately the hardware, the physical printed board. So what we look to do here is take a simple schematic from the example files, simple digital circuit here with a couple of digital devices, some connectors and a plug. For this week we're going to look at this command under Tools, Translate to PCB. What the Translate to PCB does now is to take us to the new PCB wizard, similar to the new component wizard for those of you who might have caught the earlier video. Here we're first taken to the PCB technology screen. PCBs, as you know, can be maybe a single-sided, or 2, 4, 6, or 8, 10, 12 layers if needs be. For this simple board we're going to look at the default technology, and this I know will be set up as a 2-layer board. The only thing I want to change here, that we're measuring here the metric units to 2 decimal places in millimeters. As I mentioned before, we've set this to a 2-layer board, we can see here on the screen. And here we have an option, you can see here, to define layers if needs be, to move to 4, 6 or 8. Also for options for paste mask. And also if we did have a number of layers, how to set these layers up according to which net. The next screen simply asks us then physically how big do we want that printed circuit board to be ultimately. Here I've defined a board size previously of 60mm square. Here you can see options for circles. Using board outlines from chosen technology files, DesignSpark allows you to actually design your own printed circuit board shapes. Maybe you need a particular cutout or a mitre, an angle of some description. You can design these, save these, and bring these into the PCB editor yourself. This is in a different lesson though. Also, there are a number of boards within DesignSpark PCB, preloaded for Euro cards, that you can use. Well, for today, we're going to go with the standard 60mm square PCB. Here we have the options to now look at component placements, as we can see, and net routing requirements. So at this stage, the wizard has taken all the components that we had, the devices, and also the nets, and now is asking us, do we want to have these arranged outside the board or have DesignSpark automatically positioned inside the board. Now here we can select this quite easily, and this would then move to place the components down onto the PCB that we've specified with all the nets as DesignSpark saw fit to do at the time. This is fine for maybe simpler circuits, but certainly for different circuits where you maybe have some high-speed signals, maybe you would need to keep signal traces to a very as short a length as possible. Maybe you've got some specific connectors like USB that needs to be mounted at the edge of the board. This is where we can move to simply arrange components outside the board. Here is what we're going to do today with it. Now we can move to save the file, and when we hit finish here we should be taken to the PCB editor. So, as described it just before, we've set up the board here, the printed circuit board at 60mm square. We've asked DesignSpark PCB to arrange the components outside of the board so that we have the freedom or the flexibility to set these components down where we would like them. So quite simply now at this stage, what I can do here is to pick up this connector, and you can see here that all the nets that we set up are being translated, and what we can do now simply is to bring these components down just by simply picking them up and dropping them. Oh, we just zoomed in on the screen, sorry there. Okay. We just press A, we remember, it's a shortcut command, it should take us to all. Here we can see the board now. I'll just move this down. In what I like to think of kind of like the intermediate sort of phase now before we move to a circuit board. From this point on now, we could look to do auto routing, or we can simply do manual routing of this board. So just to summarise, what we've done this week is to simply look at the schematic circuit here with the two digital devices and the plugs. We've used the translate to PCB command. It took us through the wizard to set up the number of layers on the board, the size of the board, and how we wanted to deal with the components, and we ended up with this file. So I hope you found this video tutorial of interest this week, and I hope you'll join me on the next series. Thank you very much. Bye bye.